This viewer says, marriage is a huge liability for men in the USA. What kind of woman is worth marrying today?
Somebody that's got similar goals, similar values, a woman who communicates like an adult. Ideally, she comes from a good family. And this is criteria that's going to give you the best chance for success if you're looking to be with one person the rest of your life. Does she have a good relationship with her mom and especially your dad? Because if a woman loves her dad and she says things like, my dad is my rock, I go to my dad for everything, I have a good relationship with him. And the parents, the mother and the father, have a good relationship where they talk things out and they work things through. They're very family oriented. They do things together. They mutually admire one another. They respect one another. They find each other interesting. They enjoy spending time together. These are all things that are essential. Because again, if your goals and values are different, or you communicate like an adult and she blows her top and cusses you out and ignores you for 3 or 4 days, me personally, I'm not going to put up with that. If a woman is going to say, I don't want to talk about it, and she literally doesn't want to talk about it and will hang up on you when you're trying to pull things out of her and resolve your differences, that's somebody that refuses to communicate because they learned to ignore the other person in their family, let them suffer for an unknown period of time, and when they feel they've suffered, then they'll reach back out. And so what happens, you're sailing along, you have friction, then you don't talk for several days, you're wondering what's going to happen with the future of your relationship, and then she wants to call and talk, doesn't really say, I'm sorry for being a bitch the other day, honey, it won't happen again. It's the same pattern over and over. You don't want to be in a relationship with that. A woman that has cheated on every boyfriend that she's been with, if she cheats on her boyfriend or husband with you and you're thinking you're going to live together in marital bliss like you see in TV and the movies, which is, if she cheats on him with you, she'll cheat on you with somebody else when she's not happy. Does she keep her word? Is she honest? Does she show up on time? Does she do the things she says she's going to do or not? Is she reliable, dependable, or not? These are all essential things. Because otherwise, they're better suited for short-term type of relationship, friends with benefits, sex playmate, fuck buddy, that kind of thing.
I had friends that swapped their marriage partners and married each other's partners. And I just wonder if trust is an issue in those two marriages. How do any of those 4 people ever trust again?
I saw a statistic that said, I think it was like 95% of relationships that start from cheating end in cheating.
Okay.
Because, think about it. If they cheated, it'd be different if both couples split up, but they knew each other and they just started to happen to date after that. But if there's cheating, if they're fooling around behind their spouse's backs, then typically if they're not happy, they'll do the same thing. Well, now there are cases where the person that, like I had a friend of mine, he's very Christian, and his best friend that he grew up with, they were both married. He was married to his first wife. His best friend was married, and just because their families knew each other and hung out, this acquaintance of mine, friend of mine, he basically left his wife, and she left his best friend for him, and they spent the rest of she spent the rest of her life with him. She was loyal and faithful to him. She had a lot of health problems over the last 15, 20 years, and she just passed away this past year. But they were loyal and faithful to one another. So that was kind of the exception. But obviously it ruined his friendship with his best friend because he basically stole his best friend's wife because he had settled with the woman that he married first time around. But that was one case where I know that it was a relationship that came from cheating that, as far as I know, and they were always loyal to each other, but they were very religious and Christian and everything.
Yeah.
But obviously, the family, it was like, man, it created a lot of drama in the family, and all the sides were pissed off at each other because they'd already had kids with their previous spouses.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was like a wife swap there. And so when your best friend basically takes your wife from you, It's not a good place to
It's
be.
like that thing I showed
But
you last
in all
night.
fairness, this guy who was my friend's best friend, he was a fucking douchebag. He was broke all the time, didn't pay his bills, was just immature, pissed his money away, and he wasn't a good husband to begin with. So you could make the case that he kind of deserved it, and I think that was part of why my friend ended up getting, because I think she was going to leave the guy anyways,
Mm-hmm.
just because he was a douche, but because it was so close, that obviously created a problem.
Yeah. I think that happens a lot these days.